right, so our lesson today is going to be adding and subtracting decimals. And adding and subtracting decimals is pretty much exactly like adding and subtracting whole numbers. Remember, we line up our place values and we start on the right. Now, I know when you first started learning adding and subtracting, your teacher probably said, start in the ones place. Well, when we add the decimal, we can't start in the ones place because if we did that, we'd be starting in the middle of the number. So once we write our problem, we say start on the right. The first number's on the right, okay? And just like adding and subtracting whole numbers, you have to line up the place value before you add or subtract, meaning the hundredths with the hundredths, the tenths with the tenths, the ones with the ones, and the tens with the tens. Okay. Now, when doing it with decimals, you may think it's going to be a little confusing, but there's actually a symbol that helps you, and that's the decimal. So if you start by lining up the decimal, okay, then all you have to do is fill in the numbers. All right. And you notice we have a snowman over here. And the reason we have a snowman over here is because you're going to hear me say a lot this statement called snowman buttons. So here are our snowman buttons. And to me, those snowman buttons look like decimals. Okay. So now if you look in our problem here, we only have 2 snowman buttons. So where do you think the third one's going to go? The third one's going to go down here for our answer. Okay. So we're keeping our snowman buttons in line. We're going to add the third one for our answer. And all this does is, again, it helps keep us in line, keeps our place value in line. So when you hear me say draw your snowman buttons, I mean draw your decimals, even the decimal in the answer before you start getting your answer. Okay, that'll help you stay organized. All right, so we're subtracting this. Now, just like whole numbers, you follow the same exact rule. Okay, I have 7 on top, 9 on the bottom. I cannot subtract that, so I have to borrow. Okay, that becomes a 7, and this becomes 17. 17 minus 9 is 8. Okay, then 7 minus 1 is 6. Okay, now just because there's a decimal there doesn't mean we have to do anything fancy other than just go to the next place. 2 minus 2 is 0, and 9 minus 3 is 6. Okay. Next question, they've already, again, have it lined up for us. So we have to draw our snowman buttons. 1, 2, 3. So now we're adding. 2 plus 4 is 6. 3 plus 8 is 11. We put a 1. Now, where do you think that other one carries? It carries to the next place, just like in a whole number. Okay, nothing's changed with the rules. Okay. So 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Then 8 plus 7 is 15. Okay, so why don't you pause this video and on scrap paper solve these 2 problems. And remember, when you write them, you need to line up the snowman buttons and write your answer snowman button. Line up your snowman button and your answer snowman button. So pause the video and go ahead and do that. Okay, so here we have 7 minus 2, and that is 5. 8 minus 6, that is 2. 8 minus 2, that is 6. 4 minus 3, and that is 1. So 16 and 25 hundredths. Now, if we were here and you had to borrow, just like in a whole number, you borrow from the next place. Even though there's a decimal there, remember, that's just a symbol separating the parts and the wholes. It doesn't mean you have to do anything fancy or anything extra. You borrow from the next place or you carry to the next place. The same rules apply. All right, last one, we're adding. There's our snowman buttons. We're lining up our decimal, lining up our place value. 8 plus 3 is 11. Carry the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11 again, and carry the 1 to the next place. 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 plus 3 is 13. Carry the 1 to the next place. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay. So now I'm going to give you a problem not written like this, okay? And I want you on your scratch paper to write out that problem like this. That means vertically. I'm going to give you a problem written to the horizontally, okay? And I want you to write the problem vertically. Okay, so there's your problem. 15 and 6/10, plus 13 and 4/500. So I want you to take this problem and rewrite it up and down using your snowman buttons. Now, just so you know, I did put a little trick in here to see if you see if you can figure out the trick I did. So, or try to trick you up. So pause the video and rewrite this vertically using our snowman buttons. Okay, so you should have written 15.6. Okay. Then you should have written 13.45. Okay. Now, remember, we're lining up our snowman buttons. So you can go ahead and write the snowman buttons before you write the numbers. Okay. So we have 13 and 45. And we're adding. Okay. So now if you notice, the 45 goes past where the 6 goes. And there's nothing right here. But remember, 6/10 is the same as 60. Okay. So we can put a placeholder 0 in that empty space. Okay. So that goes with, even if we were subtracting, if there was nothing there, we could put a placeholder 0 there to subtract from, because remember, 6/10 is the same as 60/100. So if you come across a problem that where there's a space on a decimal like that, you can always put a 0 there. It doesn't change the value. It's a placeholder 0, and you can use it to subtract or add. So in this case, we're adding. 0 plus 5 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 3 is 9. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So again, when you rewrite this, write the first number, write your snowman buttons, then write the second number to keep yourself organized. Okay? Because you have to, anytime you add and subtract, you have to line up the place value, and the decimal helps us. Okay? So now I'm going to talk about your work for today.